We're back with Frankie. And Frankie, the Senators haven't made it to the playoffs since 2017. And tonight, up against the Flyers, they are sitting in a playoff spot. So do you think the rebuild is over and they're finally going to snap their slump and make it back to the playoffs this season?
Of course the rebuild is over.
Okay.
Long gone are the days of the Ottawa Senators finishing in the bottom 5 of the NHL and having to rely on some lottery pick to help their future. This is it. The core group is here. They're locked in for a long period of time. Now, that doesn't mean that roster construction is over. That is going to change year to year. And there's a few areas that you would probably identify on this group that need to get better as the years go on for them to be consistently in the mix come playoff time. You probably want to have a little more depth on the blue line. And then when it comes to their lineup up front, you want to have some scoring spread out throughout the lineup and keep some veteran players in the mix. That's such an important thing for this group. And it was a big priority for them coming into this season to add some good vets to help surround the young players with. So, yes, the rebuild is over. They're not going to be finishing in the bottom 5 of the standings anymore, but roster construction is going to be a constant ongoing thing like it is with every team that tries to take the next step. And the Ottawa Senators, if you look at the last couple games, I know it's a small sample size, but that is signs of a team that wants to change the image of how they're perceived and how they play the game. So they'll have to continue that for a long period of time. It can't just be a week, can't just be a couple weeks. It has to be, call it half a season or more, where you can really feel like the Ottawa Senators are taking steps in the right direction to make the playoffs. And I think they have a really good chance of making the playoffs. I said coming into this season that if they got the goaltending they needed, if they played sharper defensively, and if they can find, they're a good offensive team, but they've almost taken a step back offensively so they can be better defensively this year and see if that helps them. But if all those things happen, the Ottawa Senators have a very good chance to make the playoffs, and I could very well see it happening.
Okay, they just need to continue the touch-ups along the way on the roster. Well, one player that's helped with that hot start for the Senators is Tim Stützle. He had 70 points last year, but this year he's on pace for 109. So is this just a hot start, or has he really arrived on the scene?
For me, he really arrived 2 years ago when he had his career-high 90 points, and he's a young, skilled player. But the thing is, if you're going to be the best player on your team on a night-to-night basis, you have to beat the other team's best players. And yes, you're going to have some help around you. You're going to have the goaltending that goes with that in order for your team to win. But that's the challenge. It's the consistency. It's the motor. It's that drive. Can you do it on a night-to-night basis where you're better than the other team's top players? And points are a part of that, but it's also the defensive discipline that comes with that. And for me, Tim Stützle has been very well-rounded this year. You can see there's a little more edge to his game. There's a little more drive to his game. And, of course, the skill has been there and is there this year. But if he can continue to find ways to outmatch whoever he's on the ice against, and there's some really good centermen that he has to go up against, especially playing in the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. But if he continues to get the best out of those guys on a night-to-night basis more consistently, he's going to go from, star to superstar status. And the fact that he's already got 90 points in this league tells me that, he's on the verge of doing that.
Yeah, we all love a superstar, and he seems to love playing against the Flyers because in 9 career games, he has 6 goals and 5 assists. So he's definitely one to watch tonight.